the 3rd of November 2020, 2 days before lockdown number 2. It's Thriving Together with NLP. And tonight's session is going to be all about the belief change technique, submodality belief change. I'm really hopeful that this is going to be an interesting session for you lovely people, because it's one of those techniques where you've got to, relax a little bit, let it come, and elicit some of your unconscious images, internal representations. So it's a good one to practice. It's a good one to get under your belt before you get using it, if you use it with clients, for sure. So it's an important one to practice. And one important part of NLP and being a practitioner is starting to get aware of your structure of your subjective experience, right? So noticing when you speak to yourself and how you do that and what tone of voice it comes in and where it comes from and what pictures you make in your mind and whether they're bright or dim or the location of them and colors and what sort of pops to mind when your brain is thinking thoughts. So when you're accessing your map of the world, what's going on? The more you get familiar with that, the better the coach it makes you. Right? And the more usable that structure is for yourself as well. And I think that's really important. And the best coaches I know have really great awareness of that. And therefore it makes them better at becoming aware of all that structure on their clients as well. So that's just part of NLP really. So it's part of Submodalities, it's part of our map of the world. And it's a lot of it's really deeply unconscious. So it's not always that easy to see or notice or feel or experience. So that's the work, right? And that's what we're here for. And that's always going to be a bit of a journey because it's very unconscious. This particular tool really helps us to start to get in contact with that or get more familiar with it. Alrighty. So this technique is a submodality based technique. It's, as we know, with NLP, our beliefs create our experience, right? You've heard me say that a few times. And if you're having loads of great experiences and great situations and you have all the things you need, then that's because of your belief system. If you've got some stuff showing up that you don't particularly want and you're not very happy with and you're not too keen on, your situations and circumstances that you'd rather not have, then you've got a belief creating those too. It's the same process. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's the law of confirmation bias working all the time. We're looking for evidence to prove what we expect to see in our environment. So we're deleting, distorting, and generalizing all the time based on our map of the world, right? And that's full of beliefs too. So, and your values. And if some of that's not how you'd like it, then we can change it, which is really great to know. Okay. Have any of you been playing around with your submodalities, doing the submodality techniques and messing around with them, practicing? Yeah, some of you have. Yeah, good. Is it easier each time, Gay and Cutty? Yeah, good. Good. That is the point. And that's, this is one that I used to swerve away from when I first learned NLP because I thought, ooh, sounds like a lot. But, it really isn't when you start playing around with it and getting familiar. And it's just another set of processes like it is in most of the techniques we do with NLP. But this one's it's really cool because anytime you change your beliefs, it's going to be a bit of a game changer. And it can be pretty subtle. And often you don't recognize the change until a period of time has passed. But if you get more and more you get familiar with the unconscious stuff I was talking about before, the more you can recognize how it's impacting you right from the off. So it's a good one to get to grips with. So this is a tool that we use to help us recognize the internal representations that we use that codes our experience. The internal representations are in what we call our virtual reality suite. That's what we call it in our school of NLP. I don't know if that's what all of NLP call it. they call it the structure of our subjective experience, right? So our own personal version of reality. And the tool we're going to be using, as ever with NLP, is using a natural process. So when you have something that you believe, like, I don't know, I go to primary school, is something I used to believe, but it's not necessarily true now. Lucky me, I don't go to primary school anymore, but I did at one point. So at one point, that was a true belief for me. And then I've moved out of that particular area of my life, and now it's an old belief. So how I know that's an old belief or a now belief or an existing current belief is purely how it's stored in my unconscious mind. So we know that they're stored through just pictures in our mind, and those pictures are outside of ourselves in different locations around our physical body. As weird as that sounds. That was a bit of trying to get my head around that one when I first learned NLP. I'm like, well, how come I can't see these things? I didn't notice they were there in the first place, so I couldn't see them because I wasn't looking for them. The more we get used to it, the more you can start to see these lovely pictures, and then we can manipulate them should we want to. So we can take away a disempowering belief, whatever that might be. We've all got some stuff kicking about, I'm sure. Almost like park that old belief, right? Hide it away in a familiar location, and then come up with a new empowering belief that's a better version of what we were looking at before, and then kind of reinstall that one in a solid location. So this is a kind of a two-step process. And that's probably the best way to think about this technique. And I'll run through it with you as ever, and as quickly as possible, I'll get you getting stuck in and practicing. Are you up for a bit of practice tonight, you lovely people? Yeah?
Yep.
Good. I know not everyone is, but good. Okay, and obviously now more than ever, moving into another lockdown situation, we need to make sure our beliefs are in alignment with the future we want, because there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment around out in the world, but there shouldn't necessarily be too much in you that in my map of the world, right? Because we're still in charge of our thoughts, we're still in control of our behaviors mostly, so we still want to be really super empowered and moving in the right direction and moving towards our outcomes. Any belief that tells you you can't have that or you can't do that might want a bit of a shift. Okay, yes, there are some restrictions, but we need to be forward focused, outcome focused as ever, and moving in the right direction. If you've got any stuff coming up, work on it. And that's what we can do tonight. Just a quick check-in. How you're feeling about moving into another lockdown? I know some guys are a bit discombobulated at home, maybe, but the rest of you okay? Struggling?
I'm okay.
You okay?
I'm all right, thanks.
You're all right, Kathy? Good?
Yeah.
Good. The rest of you seem all right? Good. Good. That's just worth checking anyway. If you're not, let us know and we can help you out, you know. All right, good. So without any further ado, let's get stuck into the script. I'm going to run through it with you because I don't think any of you have done this one yet, have you? Unless you've done Master Prac, in which case.
What page are we on, Nick?
Sorry, page 48. Colette, you're Master Prac, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have done.
I have done this.
Yeah, stuff like this. Yeah, in the values section. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Some of you are in the middle of Master Prac, so this is good practice because you'll be doing quite a lot of submodality work when you do the values change module, which is coming up soon, I think.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's juicy, isn't the word for it? It's a really good one. Getting stuck in. Get your wellies on. Yeah, so it's like a two-step process, this technique. I did a speedy version of this the other night. I was working on some financial stuff, and I've always had a bit of an issue with. I used to get confused with having wealth and having money with the elite, and there are some of those in the elite which I used to think were, you know, mean and horrible and tread over people and all these limiting beliefs going on there. So when I used to think about wealth, I always think about like a yacht or a boat out in the ocean with a nice background behind it. You know, that's my version of what I think wealth is. But it was tied up with the elite and how that negative association was around them. But I recognized that I had this lovely picture that kept popping up. It just had a crappy feeling around it. So I recognized the location of that picture was just up to my right, just above my head, and it was quite small. When I thought about it, it was I'd had some negative associations around it with the elite and the people who weren't particularly nice in my map of the world last week. So all I did with that one, recognizing the picture was there, and that was the perfect picture for my outcome, one of my outcomes as well. I just brought it down in front of me, made it really big, and wrapped it around, and then make sure I cleaned up anything else around any negative emotions. And now I've got this lovely wraparound, beautiful picture of like the Amalfi Coast in the background with a not a great super yacht or anything, just a nice boat which I'd like to hire out or travel in at some point with my family, and that sense of freedom all around it. So that's bang right in front of me now, really big picture wrapped all around me. And every time I look up and think about my future, that awesome picture is right up in front of me now. So that's how quickly you can mess around with your submodalities and play around with this structure of experience. That was a bit rough and ready, and I've done a bit of other work around it. This is a much more structured version of that, to make sure that we go through the right process, don't leave any voids or any holes for which our unconscious mind doesn't like, and we do a proper clean job of it. And this is a pretty straightforward script as well. Now, if you can all get your chat up and running for me, excuse me, I will. I've got the submodality. Oh, mind you, if you've got your script in front of you anyway, then you should be okay with this. But I'm just going to drag and drop the submodality checklist in there for you. So if it's there, if you need it on the digital format. Lovely. But in your manuals, you should have a submodality checklist on the following page, on page 49 of your manuals, right? Cool. Hi, Afua. How you doing? Still getting organized. Cool. Okay, so let's go to page 48. Have you all got some limiting beliefs you want to shift and change?
Yeah.
Or have you got some empowering beliefs you'd like to install just for the sake of it? Hopefully.
That's better.
Yeah, good. Let's get forward focused. All right, so page 48. I'm not letting you talk much because I want to get you off and do processes as quickly as possible. So what it says at the top of the page there is, let me put this one up. Let me share it. Hold fire. Let's try this one. All right. Yeah, so I just sort of sectioned it out in my manual into 2 sections, so it just makes it a little bit easier. Okay. So it says at the top of the page there, for those of you who have just joined us, page 48. Whenever you perform submodality work, you should use a submodality checklist. It makes your life so much easier. This will add to your precision and your accuracy. And before we start, can you all remember what submodalities are? Let's start out with that. Who's got a great definition of what submodalities are?
So is it gosh, you know what, I should know all this, shouldn't I, by now? They're studying every day and still can't remember everything.
There's a lot to remember, don't worry.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
You should all over yourself.
Isn't it like all your senses? No, it's not all your senses, is it? No, right.
Oh, almost. That's your rep systems, I think you're thinking of.
Yeah. That's so frustrating.
It's in there. I know it is. I'll make it easy for you. But I'm not going to.
Is it seeing, hearing, feeling, touching? Not, is it?
So what are our modalities? Do you remember what our modalities are? Let's break it down.
Excuse me.
It's an external representation, right, of something, of an image or
yeah,
the thought that you have.
Yes. So we're always making pictures in our minds, right? Always, every time, every single second. Banana, paint, fridge, right? You're just making pictures all the time. So if we look at submodalities, if we break the word down, modalities is another word for our senses. So yeah, you were right, Kathy, on that front. But in terms of, we look at VAKAD, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and auditory digital. God, I struggle saying that still after all these years. Claps ankles on that. Those are our main senses that we use to create the images in our minds. So the submodalities are the finer distinctions, or the building blocks of each of those senses in terms of how we structure those internal representations. So the submodalities of the visual modality would be things like color or black and white, near or far, focused or defocused, and those finer distinctions. So if you had a remote control for your TV, those are all the things that you could change. You could have the picture on or off. Remember those elements of it? So you could do that with the pictures. You can do the sounds as well. So the direction of the sounds that are coming from the pictures or from inside of your head. The volume.
So are they the remote control buttons for your TV picture?
They're the things you can change with the buttons, yeah.
Yeah.
If you like, yeah.
No, I do like that because that does give me a perfect image, actually, Nick. Thank you.
Good. That's one way of looking at it. So we do know with our submodalities that there are some basics that we can always trust, which is if you want to make something more impactful for someone, you make it bigger, brighter, and closer. And if you want to make something less impactful, you do the opposite, move it further away, make it darker, and make it smaller. Right? So those are our fundamentals for all human beings. So the submodalities are the finer distinctions of our modalities, or the differences that make the difference to our senses when we're thinking thoughts. Really? And making pictures. So if we had this amazing virtual reality suite around us that most people are not aware of, and we have all these different things that are outside of ourselves or are stored, so we know how we feel about a certain thing. So if you think about, I don't know, pot noodles. Think about a pot noodle. Does anyone have pot noodles? Does anyone know those?
Yeah. Bombay Bad Boys.
Right. So yeah, a pot of dry noodles that you would heat up. You would have a picture, right? You'd know you're making a picture of it because you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, you won't have a reference for it. It might be something similar. But if you all think about, I don't know, a banana, just had a few of them for my tea, then you make a picture. Now, you might not be consciously aware right now of where that picture is stored, but we know there's a picture there because you know how you feel about a banana. And we all have different versions of that as well. So starting to get familiar with where that is stored outside of ourselves. If I think about me, I think about a banana. mine is just up above me in my head. It's about 2 feet away from me, 2 to 3 feet away. And it's quite a good size picture. I really like bananas, so it's a good size picture. It's about a foot, maybe a foot, 12 inches or so square, almost. And it's just a banana floating. There's nothing around it. I've never really thought about that before, but I'm pretty good at getting used to where my pictures are stored now. So we'll all have a different version of that. And what tends to happen is the things that you like or you're fond of or familiar with that are more positive would tend to be more central and fairly close. And the things that we dislike tend to be out of the way, right? Like a bit out of arm's reach. You know, if you see someone who's talk about a food and someone says, oh, like mushrooms, and I've got a mate who just he puts his hands out. He's like, no, don't talk about mushrooms. He literally wants to punch you if you talk about them. If you try to show him a picture of it, it would freak out. But he shows me where he stores them with his hands every time he does it. You know, people do that, and they move away from it, they put their hands away from it. So again, getting used to these unconscious things that we do for ourselves and that other people are doing if we're coaching them. These are really unconscious things, and we need to know. The client doesn't necessarily need to know unless we're doing this technique, but they're good references for us. Okay, so this is a really good practice for us to get stuck into. And if you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm not very good at this, or I can't see pictures or anything like that, then just breathe, just relax. They're there and they will come to you if you just breathe and relax. All right, it's just practice. So that's what submodalities are, and that's how they show up for us. Are you okay with that now, you guys? Yeah, cool. Okay, let's run through the script. Good, thank you. All right, so this is just like the submodality food change we did, the like to dislike change, but this is like double step, if you like. So it's just that like to dislike one, but almost done twice. It's just slightly differently formatted. Okay. So let me just run through the script and then we'll get you off practicing. So number one, can you think of a limiting belief about yourself that you wish you didn't believe? Good. What is it? And as you think about that belief, do you have a picture? Remember, that is really important. Do you have a picture? Not can you make a picture? All right. Why is that important?
So that you're clear that they can visualize it.
Yes. And what are we trying to get them to visualize? Why does it say, do you have a picture rather than can you make a picture?
I want it to be a real experience, not something that they're sort of making up.
Yes, good. That's it. We want it to be the one they have, not one they're making up. If you use the wrong language, you'll get the wrong one, and then what you're doing won't be effective. So when we say, do you have a picture, they will naturally go to the reference they have already, which is in their unconscious mind, in their virtual reality suite, that is currently stored in a certain way that makes them know how they feel about that particular thing. Okay. So remember, the meaning that we take from a picture is dependent on its submodalities. That's what codes it for us. So we need to get the right one. So just by asking that question, you cover your bases. Okay.
Nick, can I ask a question about this?
Yeah.
Just to kind of put it into context. So if I had a limiting belief, for example, about losing weight, and I thought, oh God, I never seem to be able to successfully lose weight.
Yeah.
And you're asking me, do I have a picture of this? Would the picture that I have in that context be of me or the person I'm speaking to in their current form where they are overweight or I'm overweight? Is that how it
depends
works?
on how they've got it stored. It all depends. If it's so, is it? I never seem to be.
Well, you're talking about limiting
successful in losing
beliefs.
weight. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what
that's-
I'm trying to identify is it something that you feel, or is it only going to work if it's relating to an object or an experience that you can then recall a picture in your mind? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yes. So there will be a picture if there's a belief there. So, let me try and figure out what you.
So using the weight example, the
Yeah.
picture would be of the person in a heavy state as being overweight. Is that
Potentially.
correct?
Yeah, all depends on how they represent
Well,
that.
Susan,
not
couldn't they
always
have
what
a
we think
picture
it's
of a
gonna be.
cake or something though? Couldn't it be represented by a picture of cake or a large plate of food, or it could be like their favourite food? It could be anything,
I
couldn't
know,
it?
Kathy. That's why I'm asking the question. That's why I'm trying to get my head. A limiting belief is often something that is subjective in your mind. It's not necessarily about an object or an experience. So that's
Always
why
gonna
I'm
be
trying
subjective,
to
yeah.
progress this to a picture.
Yeah. So whenever you if you know about anything in your life, you will know about it because there's a picture stored somewhere. So they might just feel strongly that it's never going to happen. There will still be a picture there. However they store that, whatever is the content of that, can vary hugely from one person to the next.
Okay.
We know that they'll feel a certain way about it because of the way this picture is stored and because of the content of the picture. You can't really guess what somebody might be experiencing. You can only deal with whatever comes up.
Okay.
But there may be that they know what the picture is. There may be that they just have a strong internal dialogue around it. They may feel that they've purely got just a feeling there that they know that they'll never lose weight. When you get them to talk about it enough, and they will start to gesture where the picture is without themselves even realizing where that's stored. So in terms of how will they access it? How do they get a reference to it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. How do we then move that to be a picture? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, it's already a picture. So our job is just then to notice how, when they're talking about it, where they're looking and what they're giving off with their physiology that allows us to recognize where that picture might be.
Okay.
I guess we could just take some time if they that's part of the rapport, isn't it? Just find ways of getting them to get to that point where the picture emerges.
Yeah, the more you talk about the problem, the more you'll start to recognize that their eyes keep shooting up to a certain place, or they keep gesturing. They say, I don't know, I just can't do it. And they'll unconsciously be pointing in the right directions for you to notice that. And then you can start to say to them, are you aware that you keep looking over in that direction? What's that picture that keeps popping up for you? And then the more you start to talk around it and getting a bit more, them to be more consciously aware of what they're doing and what picture they're making, then they'll start to notice that they're making a picture of whatever it is they're seeing in their mind. And yeah, it could be a piece of cake, or it's usually going to be like it could be a section of a torso. It could be seeing themselves in a particular piece of clothing. It might, I've done it with somebody once, and it was seeing themselves in the mirror in a dressing room in a shop. So you never know what's going to come up. But whatever does come up is what's right for them. Our job as coaches, as we're learning about this technique and submodalities and playing around with them, is to start to recognize what they're doing with their body that shows us where they're looking. And then they'll start to be more aware of what the actual structure of the picture is themselves. So I'd have to answer your question a lot. It's a difficult one. You have to go through this to see how you feel about it, whatever belief you work on when we go through the process. It's a difficult one to answer, Susan.
Can I just ask a question as well? So based on Susan's sort of line of questions there.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody who's constantly looking down and you know that you think it's more of a feeling, could you get them to elicit like a colour or a sense of what it looked like if it was an emotion that they were dealing with? Would that, or is it got to be a visual sort of
It's always going to be a picture.
It's got to be a picture.
Yeah, always going to be. There's other ways of going around removing limiting beliefs. This is just one version of it. So if you know you've got a highly visual client, it's a safe bet. But I've done it with people who are strongly AD. We all make the pictures. It's just as a coach getting practiced on looking out for what you need to look out for. This is a very quick way of doing something. In also other ways, you can timeline limiting beliefs. Obviously, you can collapse anchors on limiting beliefs. You can do this technique. You can do some of the master practice stuff got coming up. Lots of different ways of going at it. But this is quick, powerful, and good learning for both people, for your client and for you as a coach. Certainly brilliant for you. So if they've just got a really strong feeling, you might want to collapse anchors on it first and then see what comes up after that. Yeah, it's difficult to know really without real examples. Somebody got an example. Let me do that, and let's just run through one now. Not the actual technique, but let's elicit somebody's image. Let me just shut this down for a second. Let's do a kinesthetic version of it so I can give you an idea. Who's got a limiting belief or something they know they want to work on? On the spot now.
I don't mind volunteering. I mean, I've got my sort of age-old one that I can't give up smoking. So.
Okay. And a silly question: how's that a problem for you?
It's extremely unhealthy. My children want me to give up. I want to give up. I would feel better. Wouldn't smell of smoke. Probably have better teeth. Give my poor lungs a rest. Give me more time.
Okay. And what was the belief again?
That I can't give up smoking.
Okay. Just write it down. Okay. So when you think about not being able to give up smoking, when you think about I can't give up smoking, do you get a picture?
Yeah, I do.
Great. Okay. Can you point to where it is?
Right in front of me.
Great. And is it black and white or color?
Color.
Great. And how do you know that?
Because I can see it very vividly.
Okay, great. Good. Okay, so that's nice and simple. So Kathy can just elicit one just like that. So that's nice and easy. So that's a good example of what usually happens. You just ask them. Did you notice that Kathy was looking at it a few times? Yeah. When she thought about what she wants instead, she was looking in a different location. But when she was thinking about what she didn't want anymore, the limiting belief, she was looking in a certain way. Good. Okay, who else has got, who thinks they're maybe not so good at eliciting their own pictures? Or not so good right now? Okay. Okay, cool. So what, have you got a limiting belief you want to work on? Choose one. No, not so much. Okay, well, let me ask you another question. Is something you don't like? Is there a food or something you don't like, or what's that?
Yeah, okay. I'll do something I don't like then.
No, we're going to do anything. You're just going to elicit the picture. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What don't I like? Oh, liver.
Liver. Okay, let me just pin the video for a second. Okay. Right. That makes you do that face. Yeah. Okay. And when you think about liver, do you get a picture? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is it? You put your hand out and show me.
There.
Right. Okay. So everyone saw she was looking in that direction. Yeah. And even if you feel like you're making it up, your unconscious mind knows exactly where this stuff is stored, and it will guide you to make things up in the right direction. So don't ever worry about that. Just trust whatever comes up. So for you, Gay, it's just you're right.
Yep. I was just looking at the eye accessing cues.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Ooh. Visual remembered.
Okay. So yeah, that doesn't always necessarily correlate when we're just accessing pictures, interestingly, because these things are stored all over, right? So
Yeah.
if I started to ask you about that in your life, you would start making more visual remembered pictures. And if what you wanted in your future, how you want things to be different in the future, then you would start making constructed pictures. But when we start talking about pictures of things, we start to look in that right direction. So yours is just above head height, is it? Would you point to it again?
Yeah, I was looking right here. Yeah, there.
Great. Okay, about that far away.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, is it color or black and white?
It's color. Yeah.
Great. What sort of size is it roughly? If you could show us with your hands.
It's that like that.
Great. Perfect. Nice one. So, have you ever thought about that before?
Liver.
Yeah, like whether you.
Yeah,
like
I've thought about it and that I didn't like it. But I haven't actually thought, oh, it's there. No.
Right, that's what I mean. Sorry. Okay, good. So there you go. All these things are around and about us. It's just a matter of noticing them. Okay.
I did use a submodality. I was trying to visualize something that I wanted to get rid of recently. So, and I thought back to your submodality teachings, and I thought, ooh, if I think of it and then change it black and white and then push it away, maybe it'll disappear from my life. Mm-hmm. But I didn't do the script or anything like that. So I was sort of peculiarly thinking about submodalities last week, because it was something that was bothering me, and I thought, I wonder if I use that submodality thing. But I had forgotten it was called submodalities, ironically. But yeah, it's you know, it's really good to change the color on something, isn't it? I remember we had the conversation about the iPhone. Do you remember we were talking about the iPhone and how they have it in color? But if you turn it into black and white, it's not quite as appealing to use. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and you diminish it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating, all of that. It's really
really
crazy.
Important. Yeah, it's really important stuff to pay attention to, and in its simplest form, like I said, if you have a picture that keeps coming up, this is unhelpful when you don't like the thought of it, then just make it smaller, darker, send it further away, and then use your incredible imagination to blow it up or set it on fire or stick it in a box or whatever. Then you can do that too. I had a close call the other day. I was driving, I was on my own, and I had this thought that what if Rocky was in the car with me and that car had hit us? And I couldn't get out of my head for a couple of minutes. So I just stuck it in a box, sent it far away, and chucked a great big rock on it. So it's never going to come back again. And the thought didn't come back. So in its most simple form, then that's the stuff we can do to get more in control of our environment, our internal environment. So that's a really useful thing to do. So this bit then, Susan, can I ask you a question?
Sorry, Nick. Yeah, absolutely.
So have you got a limiting belief that you'd want to work on?
I have lots of them.
Just choose a gentle one, see if we can get the picture up for you.
Yeah. I believe that when I'm anxious or nervous about something, eating chocolate is the one thing that can calm me down.
Okay. Great. And how's that a problem for you?
Because I know it's not true. I know it's irrational. Yeah. I know that I don't need chocolate like that. I shouldn't need any particular food to serve a purpose like that. Yeah, it's just not a good habit to have.
Okay. So when you think about eating chocolate is the only thing that can calm you down, do you make a picture? Do you get a picture?
I can see a picture of actual chocolate, yeah. Great. But it's more about the feeling that it gives me when I think about chocolate. Okay,
great. So with this one, if you're doing the like to dislike pattern on it, you would just say, when you think about chocolate, do you get a picture? It may well be the same. It may be very different because the context is different, right? So when you think about eating chocolate being the only one thing that can calm you down, you get a picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the content of that? Can you tell me?
Content of the picture.
Yeah.
Just that image of when I take the chocolate and, you know, just putting it in my mouth. That whole experience.
Okay, so there's an image of you.
And what it
chocolate in your mouth.
represents. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Is that black and white or color, that picture?
100% color.
Good. So we would expect it to be color, and probably fairly bright and fairly close.
It's the nicest, brightest color.
Good. Good. Anything? Can you think about a food that you absolutely dislike and would never ever touch in a million years?
I absolutely hate sauerkraut. I lived in
Sauerkraut.
Germany and Austria for a while, and both love to put sauerkraut on your plate, even when you ask for it not to be put on your plate.
Right. Okay. And when you think about sauerkraut, you get a picture. That's the one. So that's how we know you made that face, is because you've got a picture that tells you how to feel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So these are all things that we have all the way around us. So we've been through a life, we've navigated through life, we make decisions about things, and then we make a picture about that particular thing, and that gets stored so that we remember how we feel and respond to certain things, elements in our life. And it's just about, we know they're there, otherwise we wouldn't know how to feel about them. So it's just about practicing, getting used to how we do it for ourselves. The more you train yourself as a coach, the more you'll get better at recognizing it for the client. And then you can start to do tools like this. All right. And for me, it was just getting stuck in and practicing with my clients. That's it. Did a lot of freebie stuff and started to figure it out. Right. And that's how you go. Because it's a bit of an odd one, because most people have got no idea about this. So does that, I don't know if that helps, Susan. Or not.
So now I just need to go through the script, and when I think about chocolate, think about sauerkraut. That's what you're saying.
Although those are just examples of, let me just get the screen up again. Those are just examples of how to get pictures up, any random pictures and noticing where they are.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. But if it's, because you just don't know how somebody stores something from one person to the next. So you just ask them the question, do you have a picture? And then they will have a particular picture that's a reference for it. And we go with that. All right. So that's the first one. Can you think of a limiting belief about yourself that you wish you didn't believe? Good. What is it? And as you think about that belief, do you have a picture? Okay. And it says then, elicit the submodalities and break state. So you literally go to the, like a yellow skid mark on your page.
That's a good break statement, Nick. Yellow skid mark.
Sorry. It's not the best internal representation, is it? Oh dear, foot and mouth disease. All right, so let's get all this off of here. So let's get rid of all of that. I don't know how to get rid of it quicker than that. Those are just old submodalities from something else I did on a prep course, I think. So you've got your checklist there. So nice and easy. We just go to the first column and write down, go through the submodalities of how that picture is structured for that first belief. So, hang on a minute. The joys of tech. There we go. Damn it. Sorry. Just use the bloody manual, Nick. Okay, so yeah, the first column, we would just write down the first section. So nice and simple, just it. Oh, it's not even working. There we go. In here, this section here. And you just elicit it. And remember how we do that? We just literally ask them the question. So when you think about that, do you get a picture? And then is it black and white or color? And then just write down, I don't know, a C or a whatever it might be. Is it near or far? right? And whatever comes up, just abbreviate it as much as you can so you can whiz down there as quickly as possible. Because the longer you leave it, the more chance there is of them embellishing the picture or it changing somewhat. So you want to go down nice and quickly. So if it's, I don't know, you see yourself eating chocolate, how do you see that picture? Okay, and you go all the way down, number one, the first column there, and elicit the submodalities. And then go back to the script. Break state. Remember, always break state, especially when you're doing submodality work. Want to make sure that the pictures are shifted and cleaned between each time. And it's just good practice. So then you have one column full of the current limiting belief. Number two, do you have a belief like this, which used to be true, but no longer is? Good. What is it? And as you think about that old belief, do you have a picture? And where is that old belief now? So the example there is, for example, perhaps you used to live in Manchester. At the time, you believed you lived in Manchester, right? Because it was true. But now you live in London. So now you believe that you live in London. So the belief that I live in Manchester is the old belief. If you say I lived in Manchester, it might be a current belief. Right? So I live in Manchester. For this one, I tend to use I live in China, which is where I grew up. Or I went to St. Andrew's Primary School, which is something that used to be true, but isn't anymore. So it's an old belief.
So it doesn't have to relate to the limiting belief. It's just a belief, any belief.
That's it, any belief that used to be true, but isn't now. Because our unconscious mind stores all those things in one location. So we can use that as like a car park, or we sometimes say the museum of old beliefs. So we would literally anything you used to think was true but isn't now. So that when you think about being young or being a child, you've often got some good things that were true then, but they're not anymore because you're an adult. So I go to whichever school you went to, if you went to school, or I live in a particular place. Anything that seems just useful hasn't got to, like Susan said, nothing to do with the belief itself. It's just a location where we store old beliefs, that's all. Okay.
Nick, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So are old beliefs likely to be around the same sort of place, or are they just, yeah?
They tend to be, yeah, in my experience. The certain flavors of certain things tend to be not flavors of foods, but flavors of beliefs tend to locate in similar areas. Yeah, but certainly when I think about my old beliefs, they're always down to my left. They're about, I don't know, 10 feet away from me, about knee height if I was standing up. So they're always in the same location, pretty much thereabouts. Right. So I know if I've got a limiting belief that I want to get rid of, I'll park it in that location, and then I know that's going to be something that I used to believe, but I don't believe anymore.
So is that what we're trying to find? Just the location, not necessarily relating to just the location of where old beliefs are.
That's it, because we'll park that limiting belief that we just found, and we'll park it in that direction, in that location.
Okay.
So we've taken the limiting belief. This is the first section of this script. We take the limiting belief and we stick it in the location of the old beliefs. So we kind of neutralize it, start off with.
Okay.
They put it into retirement, right? That's why I put number 1 on the script here on the iPad, because it's the first section is that process of doing that. So like a 2-step process, really. So whenever somebody got an example of a belief that you used to believe but isn't true now. Can you think of something, anyone?
Well, I go to school.
Right. Simple as that. And when you think about that, Kathy, do you get a picture?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Great. That'll be the one. And wherever that's located, then we'll use that. That's it. We don't want to overthink it. Just hasn't got to have anything to do with a particular context of the limiting belief, just an old belief.
I can see why this has got to go a bit faster though, because that could potentially change, couldn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Because I straight away I think about my old school. I think about the gates, the big green gates just in front of the bit we used to walk in when we were kids. But if I think about it too much, I might think about the side alley that goes into the field.
Yeah.
Roundabout. Yeah. So take the first thing that comes up and go with that.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyone else got an example? No.
I have a goldfish.
Okay, cool. Good. So
I
the
don't.
terminology is right. So I have a goldfish. Yeah, you used to, but you don't anymore.
Yeah.
Great. And when you think about the goldfish, do you get a picture?
Yeah.
Good. There we go. Simple as that. So that's what we need to start off with. So again in the script it says elicit the submodalities and then break state. So again, you go back to your submodality checklist. You would go to this column and you would elicit the submodalities there. Okay, so you've got your limiting belief in this one and your old belief in this one.
Hey, can I just check the old belief is in the current tense, so I go to school or I have a something.
Yes.
It's not I went to.
Yeah, I go to. Yeah,
okay.
it'll be present tense. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So then go back to the script. And at number 3 there says change the submodalities of number 1 into the submodalities of number 2 and then break state. Okay, so you've got your whole list on the first column of the limiting belief. You want to take that picture that comes up with that current limiting belief and move it into the location of that old belief and then go down. Remember how we do that on the like to dislike? When we did that, we had to circle all the differences.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I haven't got any examples here on my book to show you, but you would first of all circle all the differences on the second column, and when you move the picture of the limiting belief into the location of the old belief, then you would just go down and read out the things that were circled and say, okay, so now, for example, now make it darker, make it bigger, make it framed, whatever comes up on the second column. Yeah. And then what's a very important thing we say when we've moved the picture across and we've changed the submodalities? Starts with L.
Sorry, what did you say? Sorry, could you repeat that, please, Nick?
As soon as we move the picture across from the limiting belief into the picture of the old beliefs, and we change the submodalities, so we make the two pictures very similar in structure and location. Do you remember what we say?
Do we lock it into place or something?
That's it. Lock it into position. Lock it in place. That's it. It's really important that we do that. If you go back to page 46, it does give you an example of what to do if you need a reminder on number 3. As ever, I was thinking, oh, we'll whisk through this quick and then we'll get on and do some practice, but it needs teaching, doesn't it, slowly? So let's slow up a little bit. So there is on page 46 on number 3, there is an example, if you need it, of reminding you how to do the changing the pictures across. Okay, and then it says lock it in place. So in an ideal world, we would have adjusted our belief change script a little bit to give you that as well. But we trust you figure it out. So what you do. So once you've done that, so I don't know, if I've got a picture of I don't know, having wealth is bad. And I move that into location of I go to St Andrew's Primary School. That's going to be parked away in the distance, and it's going to be locked in position. And then we break state, and then we say the test question there, and at the end of number 3, which is now. What do you think about that old belief now? And you would think about it, and it would feel completely different because it's stored differently. Right? That's the way it works. Hi, Jen. Okay. I guess this is one of those ones you've got to go through to figure out as you kinesthetically go through the process. So that's the first section. You've taken a limiting belief. You've found out how it's structured. You've taken an old belief that used to be true but isn't anymore, stored it in that location, break state, and test. It's the first section. And then what you've got is a bit of a void, because there used to be an old limiting belief there and it's gone. We've moved it. And we don't like voids in the unconscious mind. We don't like gaps. So what we need to do is put a new belief in place, but it's not going to be in the same location. It's just going to be filling the void, if you like, of where the old belief was. So that's what the second part of this session is for, which is starting from number 4 on the script on page 48. So we've taken an old limiting belief away. We want to get a nice new empowering belief that we're going to decide upon and make up. And then that'll be come along with it a picture. And then we're going to elicit that. And then the next section is eliciting a picture of something which is something you know is absolutely true. And then we'll move the new belief into the location of the thing you think is absolutely true. Right? Simple as that. Lock it in place. So, number 4, can you think of a belief which for you is absolutely true? For example, that the belief that the sun is going to come up tomorrow, something like that. What is it? Get them to tell you. As you think of that belief, do you have a picture? Has anyone got an example of something they believe to be absolutely true?
The weather in the UK is completely unpredictable.
Yep, that'll do. If that's true for you, perfect. Good. I thought you were going to swear then. Looking forward to that. It didn't happen. Who else has got something? It's
I'm
absolutely
going to
true
go
for
to
you.
sleep tonight.
That's a good one. Yeah, I never thought that. Going to go to sleep tonight. Yeah. So you just get. What do you get a picture of, Kathy?
Oh, just my duvet and just black. Go to sleep.
So you just get a certain snapshot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did it. I got a snapshot of the left-hand side of my bed and the bedside cabinet. Right? It's just the first thing that pops up. Great. Anyone else got something that there is absolutely true?
When I turn the tap on, water comes out.
You got good plumbing there.
That doesn't apply in Ghana, so I wouldn't.
That's it.
Not all the time.
That's it.
Yes, if it works for you, that's good.
Oh,
That's so individual, right?
yeah. That's my map of the world.
That's it. So you must have a good system and a good plumber. Good. So whatever comes up for you, just make sure it's a really rock solid one, you know? So, I mean, that could be one of many, many things. I am a man. For me, as far as I know, that's a rock solid one. I live in Longwick, you know, or I am a good person. I feel like that about myself. So something good, or the sun will come up in the morning, or it will fall at night, or whatever comes up for you. Okay. And as you think about that belief, do you have a picture? Take what comes up, and then go back onto the checklist on page 49, and then go down the third column. So I'll put TB, true belief. Okay. And you elicit that in that column there. All the way through. And then break state. And then number 5, can you think of a belief that you want to have, which is the opposite of the belief in number 1, the limiting belief at the start? Good. What is it? And as you think about that belief, do you have a picture? So if it's, what do we have? I can't give up smoking, for example. What would be a more empowering belief instead of that one? For you, Kathy?
I am no longer a smoker. I don't know what would be the opposite. I am an ex-smoker.
Right. That works for you, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, perfect. When you think about that, do you get a picture?
Yes, I do.
Good.
I was wondering then. Actually, my first picture that came with was me still having a cigarette, which is ridiculous, isn't it?
Well,
yeah.
if it's, I mean, not necessarily. It depends on how you feel about that.
Yeah.
Right. We want to make it nice, as clean as possible. If that's the first one that pops up, and that feels like an empowering picture for you, then we can use that. If it's not the right one, the behavior won't change, and you can just go through the process again. Right?
Cool.
And go from there. All right, so that's number 5. So it says elicit the submodalities. The location should be different. And once you've elicited the submodalities, which is in the 4th column over here. So the new empowering belief that will go down there. Okay. Cool. So once we've got those two, just waiting for that image to save. My iPad's full up, so it's taking forever. So now we change the submodalities of number 5 into the submodalities of number 4. So this time around, we're going to be going this way. Ooh. Okay, you see that? It's like a 2-year-old's drawing, doesn't it? So we're going to take the 4th column, which is the new belief we want to have. We're going to park that in the location of the true belief for us. Okay. Tell when I stop being artistic, can't you? So does that make sense so far? You just reverse that over. Good. Okay. So this says there, number 6, change the submodalities of number 5 into the submodalities of number 4, and then lock it in place. Always make sure you lock it in place because it will bounce back if you don't. And then what you've done a 2-step process. You've taken the original limiting belief and you've stored it away in a location of beliefs you used to believe that aren't true anymore. That's the first section. And then you come up with a rock solid platform, if you like, of something you really believe to be true. Then you come up with a nice new empowering belief that's going to work for you. See how that comes up for you, and then store that in the same location as the rock solid true thing for you as well. And that sticks it in the right position. And then all of a sudden that will become a reality for you. Things will start to shift. Behaviors will start to change. You might need to do some other work around it as well, whatever the belief is, but that's a real fundamental piece of work that needs to be done all by itself.
So Nick, can I ask, how long would this, bearing in mind that, if we were practiced and we were accustomed to it, not talking about the first time, but how long would it normally take you, for example, to do one of these?
It all depends on the client and how long, if they're good at making pictures, I don't know, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, if they're good at making pictures and they're quick and they understand that. If they don't and they're not too sure and they're thinking about it and it takes them a little while to get those pictures up, then it could take half an hour, I suppose. But not much longer than that.
Reasonably fast then.
Yeah. The more familiar you are with it, the easier it gets because you understand the basic process. Like all of these, lots of these different techniques, it's just once you get the hang of the process and it makes sense to you, then it's pretty straightforward. All right. So we got ready. It's 9:15 already. Neck. Where does the time go? Shall I just do a demo?
Speaking selfishly, Nick, this is actually perfect for me this evening because I was really too shattered to actually do some proper practice, and this is a really helpful refresher. And the demo, so it's all working out really nicely.
Okay.
I think everyone sounds exhausted tonight. I feel tired as well. I don't know what it is. It's just kind of like
weird. It's really, really draining. I don't know whether it's the weather or the change of I don't know whether it's because we've hit November, something. I don't know.
Well, I think this week, what's going on and the potential
maybe
lockdown and, well, I say potential, it's probably going to happen, isn't it? But everything started getting a bit stressy outside already. Now, have you been to the shops and all the toilet rolls gone already and the pasta's all gone already? And everyone's a bit stressed. You can feel the energy, right? We do get affected by that. So there's no doubt that it's going to have some effect on you.
Well, that's a really valid point, actually. Yes. Negative energy around us, that would be quite affect us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah.
People are quite stressed at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, there's uncertainty, right? And
there's a full moon as well, Nick. So I think
Is it full moon tonight, Susan?
Yeah.
That could explain
it. Rocky's been a interesting character today, so that'll explain a lot. Yeah, that's going to happen, and this whole situation is causing uncertainty, and it can be tiring for us. Yeah. I remember the first time with the first lockdown, it threw me for a couple of weeks. This time round, it threw me for about 5 minutes, and I'm all good again. So it's going to affect your energy. It's all good. Look after yourselves. So, how can I best serve you then for the next 15 minutes in terms of this process? Shall I want to run through it again? Does somebody want to run through it? We've got 15 minutes left, so it has to be someone who's good at visualizing. Or shall I just? How can I help you get your head around this?
I don't mind being a guinea pig, to be honest, because I'm quite good at visualizing. So
yeah, okay.
But that's dependent. Well, and also it's a real benefit to me. But that really depends. If anyone's, I'm really happy to go with the flow. So
okay.
I'm happy to observe, so it's all good.
Nice one. Let's do it. Let's unshare.
Yeah, I'm up for observing.
Yeah. Okay. Probably the best way of doing it for this one. It's like because you haven't had a demo on it.
I am on a mobile phone, so I know it's a bit tricky, but Carl's updating my computer. So am I all right like this? Yeah.
Yeah, you're all good. All right, let's do this then. Let me get the script.
Nothing. 6 days.
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the phone. Dream of talking to you like that, Nick. I'd only talk to my own husband.
Should I like it? All right. Just get this ready. There we go. All right then. All right, so Kathy, can you think of something that you, oh no, that's the wrong script. I like to dislike. Something you like, but you dislike. All right, so can you think of a limiting belief about yourself that you wish you didn't believe?
Yeah, I can't give up smoking.
Right, okay. And as you think about that belief, do you have a picture?
Yes, I do.
Great, okay. Now, is it a black and white or color picture?
It's color.
Color, great. And is it near or far?
It's near.
Let me just pin you so we can all see if that's all right. Lovely. It says near.
It is near, yeah.
Lovely. Is it bright or dim picture?
It's quite bright.
Good. What's the location?
Right in front of me.
Okay. Is it eye level? Or
Yes.
above? Or yeah.
No, right in front of me. Yeah.
Great. Right in front. Perfect. What's the size of the picture?
It's probably about 14 inches wide and about 12 inches high. So it's sort of TV size, actually, TV frame size.
Nice. It's very accurate. Thanks.
You're
That's what we
welcome.
want, right? And is it associated or dissociated? Are you in the picture or not?
No, it's dissociated.
Okay. Great. Is it focused or defocused?
It's focused.
Framed or panoramic?
Panoramic.
Great. And is it movie or still?
No, it's still.
Still. Great. Are there any sounds that are important with that picture?
Yeah, there are actually.
Okay, good. What's the location of those sounds? Is it from the picture or in your head?
It's more in me, actually.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
And what's the is there a direction to those sounds? Is it going from you anywhere, or is it just staying in your head? Does it go towards the picture or?
No, it's just with me.
Okay. Sounds like a weird question. But is it internal or external? So it's in you, so that's internal. Great. Is that loud or soft sound?
It's quite loud, actually.
Fast or slow?
Medium, in between.
Cool. And is there a high or low pitch to that?
Low.
Low. Cool. Nice one. Are there any feelings that are important?
Emotions.
Feelings in your body?
Well, do you know what? Yes, there are.
Yeah. And what's the location?
In my chest.
Chest. Great. And what's the size of those feelings in your chest, if you could imagine a size to it?
The full capacity.
Yeah. Cool. What's the shape? Torso shape, is it?
No, it's lung shape, actually.
Lung shape, yeah. And if there's a intensity, 10 being the strongest, what would you say it was?
It's probably about an 8.
Great. Lovely. Okay, thank you. Just wait for that to save. Come on. Right. Okay. The favorite type of cheese?
Oh, don't really like cheese.
Don't you?
Not really.
Don't blame you.
Not a cheese girl.
You know. Like it. Okay, so do you have a belief? Let me make sure I'm on the straight. Yeah, which used to be true, but no longer is.
Yes, I go to school.
I go to school. Great. And as you think about that, do you get a picture?
I do.
Nice. Let's get that up there. Great. So is that picture black and white or color?
That's color.
Yeah. And is it near or far?
It's about 4 feet away.
Okay, 4 feet away. Yeah. And is it bright or dim?
The colors are vivid, but it's not. It's blurry. Is it dim? It's just normal, really.
Just normal.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the location, did you say?
About 4 feet away.
Whereabouts in relation to your body?
Kind of over there.
Over to your left?
It's over to my left, yeah. Sort of diagonal.
Diagonal. Okay. How 4 feet away, over to your left. Okay, cool. What's the size of that picture?
It's about, what's the size of one of the bigger pictures, not bigger photo prints? It's not a 6x4, it's one slightly bigger than that. Like an A4 size.
A4 size, I was going to say like a picture. Okay. Like a piece of paper. A4?
Yeah.
Cool. Is it associated or dissociated? Are you in the picture or not?
Dissociated.
Dissociated, good. Is it framed, focused or defocused?
Defocused.
Great. Is it framed or panoramic?
Panoramic.
Cool. Is there movement there or is it still?
No, there's no movement.
Lovely. Okay. Are there any sounds that are important with that picture?
No. None.
Cool. Just move that down a bit. And are there any feelings that are important?
No, not really.
Cool. Lovely. All righty. Thank you so much. If you could be an animal for the day, what would you be?
Oh, elephant.
An elephant.
Yep.
Because?
Because they're just like the best animals on the planet.
Fair enough. Right, I'm just going down my checklist and ticking all the differences on the right hand side. Okay. All right. So, Kathy, I'd like you to bring up in your mind the picture of your limiting belief. You can't give up smoking. Yeah, maybe put your hand. Oh, you can't use two hands, can you? You do this with your head. With your hand.
I'm pretty good at doing this anyway, to be fair. So, but I can.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to if you just do it with your eyes. It's okay. All right. So, and then bring to mind the picture of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay. I'd like to move the picture of the limiting belief into the location of the school picture. Move that across. That's it. Lovely. Yep. And now just make sure that's about 4 feet away in the right location there. Yeah. It's kind of a normal brightness. It's about A4 size.
Yeah.
And it's defocused.
Okay.
Make it defocus, right? And then make sure you turn off any sounds and turn off any feelings.
Okay.
Okay, and lock that in position for me.
Okay.
Good. Well done. Lovely. Thank you very much. And who's going to win, Trump or Biden?
Oh my God, should we just go and blow America up?
Well, it's not very ethical or ecological, but yeah, why not?
No idea.
Okay.
At least Trump's amusing, if nothing else. I mean, he's a complete loony in my opinion, but he is funny.
Comedy value. Good. All right. So when you think about the limiting belief that you can't give up smoking, how does it feel different?
Well, that's odd because it doesn't. Do you know what? I can't even form the sentence. That's really peculiar. I actually couldn't form the sentence. So how can I can't give up smoking? Okay. Well, there's not much of a feeling there at all, really. There's nothing there.
Good. Which you would expect, right? Because we turned the feelings off.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay.
Good start. All right, so let's do the second block then, shall we? I love the way you process it. See, that's good physiology to notice, right? She's searching, she can't find it. Well done, Kathy. All right, now, so can you think of a belief for you which is absolutely true? For example, if someone's going to come up tomorrow.
Yes, I am going to go to sleep tonight.
Great. And as you think about that belief, do you have a picture?
Yes, I do.
Good, good, good. All right. So let me do that in a different color. So is that picture black and white or color?
It's black and white, actually.
Cool. Is it near or far? What's the location?
It's right next to me.
Oh, interesting. So just to your left?
Correct, yes.
Next to your shoulder, is it? Or
next to my elbow, because I'm sitting on my bed, so I'm kind of like, it's right there.
Okay. If that works for you. Oh. Hang on a minute. I just pressed the wrong button. The picture's gone. Bear with me. So I don't use tech. Sorry. Here we go. So it was to your left and just by your shoulder, wasn't it? You said.
Yes. Well, it's
more elbow. Sort of, so you said
more
elbow.
by my elbow, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Cool. Is it bright or dim, that picture?
Dim.
Dim. What's the location? So just to the left and by your elbow, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Size of the picture?
Yeah, it's quite big, actually.
Yeah.
Probably about an A3 size.
A3, cool. That one. Is it associated or dissociated in the picture or not?
Yes, I am. Yes,
You're in the
associated.
picture.
Yeah.
Cool. Focused or defocused?
Defocused.
Nice one. Framed or panoramic?
Framed.
Good. Moving or still?
Moving, really, ever so slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Are there any sounds that are important?
No.
Good. And are there any feelings that are important?
Just tiredness.
Just tiredness. Okay. What's the location in your body when you think about that tiredness?
In my eyes.
In your eyes. Okay. Just wait for us to save. Hang on a second. In your eyes. Cool. What's the size of that feeling?
It's just normal size.
Yeah. And shape? Excuse me.
No shape to it.
No shape. And intensity out of 10 being the strongest?
5.
5. Cool. Lovely. Okay. Favorite room in the house?
No favourite room. Well, kitchen, I suppose, but my favourite place of the house is the garden.
Okay. Nice. Lovely job. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so now can you think of a belief that you really want to have, which is the opposite of the belief, the limiting belief?
I am completely successful in giving up smoking.
Okay. I am or I was?
I am.
Cool. Just write that down.
Oh, can I just change that to I was? I was completely successful in giving up smoking. I think I like that one better.
Yeah, sounds good. Perfect. Okay, so I was completely successful in giving up smoking. Nice. And as you think about that new belief, do you have a picture?
Do you know, every time I think about it, do you know, I keep taking a big deep breath, don't I?
Yeah.
That's because my lungs are clear, you see, when I think about it. A picture. Yes, I have got a picture.
Yeah. Great.
Yes.
And is that black and white or color?
It's absolutely colour.
Good. Near or far?
It's, where is it? It's just a bit further over there, actually.
Okay, to your left.
Around to my left, sort of, yeah, in a diagonal across.
Okay, how far away?
4 feet away.
Cool. One second. I'm sorry. That's my picture again. Come back. There we go. 4 feet away. To the left. Cool. Okay, is it bright or dim, that picture?
Right.
Cool. Location, we've got there. What's the size of that picture?
That is about, gosh, that's got to be about 1.5 feet high and about 1 foot wide.
1.5 feet wide.
1.5 feet high and about 1 foot wide, yeah.
High.
So bigger than an A3.
Okay. Okay, good. Is it associated or dissociated?
Associated.
Great. And is it focused or defocused?
Focused.
Great. And is it framed or panoramic?
It's framed.
Great. Is it moving or still?
Moving.
Lovely. Okay. Are there any sounds that are important with that one?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's
Yeah.
the location?
That's back in my chest again.
Chest. What's the sound? I guess is it as a breath, you say?
Yeah, like a big deep breath. Yeah.
Cool. What's the direction? Is it coming from? Is it in you, or is it in the picture coming towards you? Or
No, it's in me.
cool. Chest in you. Sorry, yeah. So that's an internal picture. Cool. Loud or soft?
Quite loud.
Good. Fast or slow?
Slow.
Yeah. And high or low pitch?
Low.
Nice. And are there any feelings that are important?
Yes. Yeah, there are actually.
What's the location of those feelings?
All over.
All over.
Just me.
Great. And so the size is like full body size, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Shape, same.
Yeah, well, just sort of body shape because it's just me.
Yeah. Great. And the intensity?
Quite intense, yeah.
Yeah. Out of 10?
Or 9 or 10 out of 10.
Okay, great. Lovely. Okay, let's just save that one. Are you iPhone or Android?
iPhone. For my sins.
All right, so I'm just going to go down my checklist.
Cool.
And I'm going to circle all the differences in the third column, the true belief. So that's different. Bear with me. That one. And that one. Okay. Lovely jubbly. Last bit. How are we doing for time? We'll run over a little bit, but all right. So I'd like you, Kathy, to bring up the true belief, which was, remember?
Yep. I'm going to sleep tonight. Yeah.
Go to sleep tonight. Perfect. Okay. And bring up your new empowering belief of I was completely successful in giving up smoking.
Yeah.
It's a bit further over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'd like you to move that new belief closer to you into that location of the sleep one.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. And now make that picture black and white.
Okay.
Yeah, good. So it's just the elbow length. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it dim.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's about A3 size. And make it defocused.
Okay.
Okay, good. Turn off any sounds. There's no sounds there at all with that picture now.
Okay.
Good. And there's a feeling in your eyes.
Okay.
It's about a 5 out of 10 intensity.
Okay.
Okay, and lock all that in position.
Cool.
Good job. What did you have for tea tonight? Chef?
Duck pancakes.
Duck pancakes.
Mm.
Nice. That sounds good. Good. All right. So now, now what do you believe?
Well, that's quite interesting, actually. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think that the feeling of my initial I can't go at smoking is absolutely completely it's gone somewhere. I'm not quite sure where it's gone.
Mm.
I can see the other one over there. That's really odd.
Oh, still what over there by your elbow or over there 4 feet
Yeah,
away?
I just here, yeah.
Okay. Good.
It's actually really peculiar, to be honest, because I'm not quite sure if I can see the picture, how you've described, just told me to think about it, locked in place, dimmer, with less intensity, out of focus, black and white. But I can't associate any feelings to it at the moment.
Okay.
So I don't know.
It's a good start, isn't it?
It is a good start, because the one that was over there, that picture won't stay there anymore. It's gone all the way over there.
And is it all right with your unconscious mind to have that stick and stay like that?
Yeah, it is actually, yeah.
Good. And how this isn't in the script, but how could you replace that old behavior? What could you do in the moment? Take a nice deep breath, or
Actually just the breathing and visualizing the old. So the picture's not there anymore. It's absolutely over there, like the old picture. I can't give up smoking's over there. It's not even in here. It's not here anymore.
Good.
So what I think I'm going to do is feel that breathing. Do you know what I mean? And then just make sure I can keep it. If I glance over to my left, I can keep that in mind.
Great.
Okay. That's really odd, because I can't give up smoking. I couldn't even remember the sentence. Honestly, halfway through that, I couldn't actually remember the sentence. That was really weird. And I can never not say something. You know what I'm like, so.
Well, I wouldn't want you to remember to completely forget that. So that's good. All right. So yeah, a nice deep breath whenever you feel the stress or whatever it might be. That's usually what smokers are craving anyway, is that nice deep lungful of breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. You get 20% more oxygen, right? So good. All right. So if anything you need to do behaviorally to back yourself up with that one, then do it.
To be honest, I think that maybe, yes, I need to do something else, because I've put down, I was completely successful in giving up smoking, which is going to be an amazing feeling. So I can feel that feeling's more powerful. Do you know what I mean? What I now need to do is like to actually stop.
Okay. Is that all right with your unconscious mind to stop?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I'm not really sure. That's just a problem, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
That is
So
the
you might need
problem.
to collapse anchors on something. If there's anything else there around just changing that
Yeah.
behavior over, you might need
Yeah.
to use the swish. If you've done the swish.
I have used the swish before. That actually stopped me. That stopped me smoking for 2 weeks.
Great. And do a like to dislike as well on the on the actual cigarette.
Submodalities, yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
really hammed that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Have you got a food you really dislike, or a dog poo or something?
Yeah, there's no food I really hate that much, I'm afraid. So
Okay, so use something else, to back it up. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Go at it from all angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Well done, you. Well, thank you. It was a good one to run through. Well, how long did that take in the end? Half an hour?
Did that take time?
About that.
25 minutes?
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Kathy. Let me know how it goes.
I will.
Things like smoking, that sort of stuff, there are obviously addictive things. Then it's with a coach, you'd need to do a bit more around it, probably. You already been doing some stuff around that, haven't you, Kathy? So
yeah, I'm still working on it. Yeah, I work on it regularly.
Right. Okay. So now we got the belief more in alignment with what you want to be doing, then that's a really great start as well.
Interestingly, I hadn't touched on that, so that's really helpful for me. Thank you. Okay. Thanks so much.
Take care of yourself.
Right.
See you soon.
Take it easy. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.